Now, see, the attraction to you was through your latest production, you know,
It's not even the
Badama,
latest anymore.
Badamasi.
It was made in 2019, so it's very old.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Well,
It has suffered from red tape, black tape, and green tape.
okay,
That's why it's only coming out 3 years later.
okay.
That's I'll come to that.
Well, I was opportune to watch it a few days ago, and it's very interesting. Uh, yeah, no. See, it's interesting in the sense that it gave me pause, okay, and I step back and say, this is something to think about because you were the movie is basically about our ex head of state,
Yes.
General Ibrahim Babangida. Okay.
Babangida.
Yeah. And yes, I saw his humanity in that movie. Okay. And somehow, yeah, I was young then. In fact, by 1993, I was 20. Okay. And the lockdown of the school in the school gave me one extra because that was the year I was supposed to graduate, but gave me one extra year, and I didn't like it. Okay, but yes, I didn't like it. I didn't like it because my very good friend who also graduated at 20, I was supposed to beat her because I date. You know, if I had graduated at the time I graduated, I would have beat her by a few months. You know, but she beat me. You know, anyway.
It is well.
Yes. So it gave me a lot of things to think about. A lot of things I never looked at him as a person. Yes, that's the truth. Okay, I only saw him in my mind's eye. I only saw him as that Maradona we talked about. Okay,
Absolutely.
but I viewing this movie, it gave me 2 hours of time to see the agony he must have gone through. Because in truth, yes, there was riot and whatever, but he didn't actually behave like a dictator that we all have seen across Africa. No. He was never like that at any time. He was cunning, okay? He was cunning, but he wasn't violently.
It wasn't brutal. No.
Yes, he wasn't. That's the truth. Yeah. So that watching this movie and remembering that he wasn't brutal, said, okay, this may be true. So tell us about the movie, why you made it, and hey.
So, very long story. I'll try and give you the short version of it, the abridged version. So in 2016, I just finished that theatrical run for a film that I made in 2015 called Oxford Gardens. I made in collaboration with Africa Magic, and it was in the cinemas in December 2015, all through to about February 2016. So when that run finished, I was in Nigeria. I had been nursing the idea of doing a biopic. I thought about worthy subject matter. Thought
Yeah.
about the Obasanjos of this world, the
Yeah.
Gowons of this world, the Ojukus of this world, the Abiolas of this world. But I was swayed by two things with IBB. One of them was the fact that his life story reads like a Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah.
Full of intrigue, full of coups for and against, full of Maradona dribbles and intrigue and and full to the brim with June 12th.
Yeah.
I said, what better subject would a Nigerian want to do in a biopic than somebody with that kind of a full dramatic life?
Yeah.
The second thing that attracted me to him was in 1990, when I was in final year at the University of Nigeria and Nsukka, I received an award from IBB called the Nigeria National Youth Award. It was my first major award. In fact, my first award of any note, apart from being the best footballer from my village. And that kind of gave me a lot of admiration for the man. The day I saw him, I had photographs with him when he shook my hand and gave me, pinned the medal on my chest.
Yeah.
And I've kind of, respected him, how he comported himself. And incidentally, it was only 2 weeks. We received that award 2 weeks before the Okaku happened.
Ah, okay.
So when the Okaku happened, I was back in school and I was actually crying for him. That was how emotionally I was attached to the person. So fast forward from 1990 and nothing happened with that award. Never saw him again. And then I spoke to somebody, a lady who had access to him, and she promised to take me to him. I flew into Abuja, drove with the lady to Minna, and after waiting for a long time, we were given an audience with him. I prepared a small pitch to ask him to allow me to make the film. And I gave it to him. And I said, my name is Obi Emelonye. I'm a filmmaker. I made the film called The Mirror Boy, Last Flight to Abuja. And he said, you made The Mirror Boy? I said, yes. He said, I've seen The Mirror Boy. I said, I'm gonna lie. I said, I gotta lie. He said, I've seen it. And I said, okay, tell me the story. And he did. Is it Genevieve and Osita? I said, that is the summation of why I'm here.
Ooh.
If this village man from Imo State, Idato South, local government area, can reach you in your world, in your living room, and you've watched The Mirror Boy 3 times, you don't even know that I exist, but I can reach you. A lot of books have been written about you, but on the launch day in Abuja, people will come, dress up, buy the books for millions of naira.
Yeah,
they don't read it. Put it on their shelves.
Yeah,
they say if you want to keep something from a black man, hide it in a book.
Yeah, they don't read it.
They don't read it. And then look at where Nollywood has come to, where somebody like me can have access to you. You can imagine the number of people that have seen The Mirror Boy in their living rooms who will be there wondering, who's this guy? They don't know, is this Bushman? So I said, that sums up the reason I'm here. I said, I've met you before. He said, where? I said, in 1990, State House Marina, Lagos. He said, what was the occasion? I brought out the photographs and I showed him. And his face just lit up like this. He was so happy. And he was pointing out people in the pictures. That person, oh, they died last year. Oh, that one, she visited me last month. The 2 minutes that I was supposed to have with him turned into 2 hours.
Ooh.
Because he felt an affinity with me. And that was it. He said, come back in 3 months' time. Here are some books about me. Read them. Come back 3 months. Let me think about it. 3 months, I came back. He said, come back in 2 months' time. I haven't discussed it with my sons. I'll go back to London, come back 2 months later. He would say, all right, here are more tapes. Listen to the tapes while I think about it a bit more. Come back. From March 2016 until December 2018.
Wow.
Was when he now said, okay, I'm going to tell you the story. But by then I was already writing the script based on the books that I was reading. Then he gave me what I consider to be no holds barred interview over 3 nights.
Wow.
So it starts about 7 till midnight. Any question I asked, I recorded, I wrote down, and that was how I built the materials to be able to tell the story. And I made it very clear from the very beginning. And I was on some platforms since the film released on Amazon where they've questioned, the perspective of the film. And I said, look, a lot has been written about IBB and all the things that happened under his watch. A lot. Copious newspaper articles, books, research been done on it. So I am not going to make a film based on what's already in the public domain. The unique selling point of this film is that it is going to be the first time that IBB, after keeping quiet, maintaining this noble silence all this while, this is the first time he's addressing these subjects openly, exhaustively. That's the unique point of the film. Otherwise, if you want to know about IBB, type IBB, you'll see all the things on the internet about him, if you want to believe the myth.
Yeah.
But if you want to see things from his perspective, even if you don't believe it, even if you don't want to believe it, but at least you can hear him out, and then you can make up your mind. Because I tell people that the truth of all the things that happened in that period is not in the film IBB, in Badamasi. It's not in that film. The film is a perspective from one of the major players.
Yeah.
And we need all the other major players to say their own perspective, and somewhere in the middle,
there's the truth. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So to cut a long story short, I started making the film in 2019. We finished about May 2019. It was supposed to go in the cinemas in Nigeria. That was when the problem started. Some dark voices from very dark corners started approaching me, talking to me not to release the film. I ignored them and still went ahead. And then I saw that government agencies were also being used to frustrate the release of the film.
Ooh, really?
That was when I knew that there is no need to fight the system. Our people say that if one person cooks for the whole community, the community will eat it. But if the community cooks for one person,
you cannot do.
They can't eat it. So I said, you know what? I am not foolhardy.
Yeah.
And maybe it's time to rest this project. And thankfully, the people that invested in making the film understood the risks they were taking, and they were willing to be patient. So I told them, let's not do a cinema run anymore. I called the distributor and said, we're not releasing in the cinemas anymore. It's for them, for the people that are opposing this film, it's direct confrontation. I don't want to do direct confrontation.
Yes.
Let's look for another means. Then Netflix heard about the film, previewed it, said very complimentary things about it, especially about how they're going to grow a different kind of audience with a film like that. And they were considering, really taking the film on at a level. I think they were considering original. And then one day, my distributor called me and said, Netflix are saying that we need to get a letter from the government.
Ooh.
I said, why? This is from the same people that made The Crown, that parodied the Queen of England. Did they get a letter from the Prime Minister before they made The Crown? Did they? Who does that? If we cannot be backed by the global corporations to tell stories like this, what do they want us to do? Do another party as a film? Or let the story die so that a few years from now, Hollywood will come and take a perspective that is imperialistic on it and do a parody of the man. No, this is our story. We have to tell it ourselves. And these agencies, these global players would have to support us. But, you know, I guess Netflix was vindicated when Twitter was banned in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And Netflix said, you see, well, I told you that this place is funny. You know?
Yeah.
And they were right.
Yeah.
That, but then Amazon has come into the picture. They are new, they are bold, they are, you know, they don't have the inhibitions that Netflix had. And they see the potential in the film, and they are exploiting that. People are watching that all over the world. You know, the number of people that have watched the film in 1 week that it's been out, even though it had technical problems and had to be withdrawn for a few days. The numbers are staggering. My distributor shared the numbers with me that Amazon shared with them, and it's unprecedented. You know, based on their startup. You know, they only landed in the territory. This is by far the most influential film that they've released.
Wow.
Since they landed. So it's I knew it was going to be a topical, controversial, almost divisive film, but I kind of underestimated the level of acrimony, the level of personal attacks that I would receive because of it, because you know, in the eyes of some people, I'm trying to whitewash IBB's image.
See,
far from the truth. I'm just a filmmaker who saw a subject matter that had intrigue, had drama, had action, and had controversy.
Yeah.
And I jumped on it. See, and I haven't taken the responsibility very, very lightly. I know that there's a social responsibility that comes from telling those stories. And I exercised real restraint and real responsibility in the way that I handled the story. I did not treat it lightly at all.
Yeah. Obi, see, this is one of the things that are holding us back as a people. We are not free.
No.
Okay. And the truth of the matter is this. And I've in the last 24 months, I've been reading a lot of different books. See, yes, we have been following, in quotes, the footsteps of the West. But in the truth of the matter is this: we have not been doing that. Okay, because there's one thing that the West has, and most of us think we don't see the value of it. That is freedom. That freedom to explore the difficult topics, to tell the story that a lot of people disagree on. That's actually the bread and butter of the West. See, when you tell a story that people disagree on, what happens? In the West, conversation. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And through that conversation, the other party will have the opportunity to tell their own story. Yeah. And a third party will tell their own story. A fourth one will tell their own story.
Wow.
And what is happening through all this? Many new actors are getting involved, and economy is booming.
Yep.
See, that's what we have not been doing. See, we restrict some people, somebody, just because I think their story will negatively affect me. No.
And the truth of the matter is that there is nothing negative about, you cannot tell the story of IBB without mentioning by name the person he deposed to get into power.
Yeah.
You cannot do that, and so there is nothing derogatory, there is nothing insulting.
Nothing. I didn't see anything like that.
It's just historical facts.
Yeah.
And to be fair to the president, I don't believe that he's heard anything about the film.
No,
these are people
of course
who are being overzealous on his behalf without even consulting him. Because if they show him the film, which
there's nothing derogatory about him. Yeah, it's something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I guess somebody is fighting his fire without lighting a match, and that's the problem with overzealous workers or lieutenants.
Wow. Well, I say this. I enjoyed the movie, and just like I said earlier, we don't do history anymore in our secondary school. So I encourage everybody who listens to this podcast to just check out the movie. It's that simple. And if you have
you don't have to like him.
If you have a say, hey,
if you hate him, the more reason why you need to watch it, because you need to know your enemy.
Yeah.
And this tells you about the man properly. So
yeah. if you hate him, you know your enemy. That's it. Yeah. Yes. That's something we need to do. See, I always also tell people to read European history. See, I'm a big fan of European history, and I encourage everybody to read European history. If we think the West are doing anything against us, well, the best way to understand them is to read their history. Get to understand how and what brought them to where they are. If we don't understand it, you can't fight them.
Yeah.
You can't gain from any knowledge they have. The only way to gain those things is to read their history. The only way to be able to fight them effectively is to read their history. That's it. Anyway. So guys, please, I encourage you to check out that movie. It's called Badamasi. Okay.
Badamasi.
Yeah.